I lost the Hollywood Hemptress Hour footage because I took a phone call.
That's so weird. Like, it doesn't save to your phone or anything?
Well, I mean, I guess I can't pick it up. No, it won't. It either you have to, like, save it, or you've got to let, if it breaks, but you can't take a phone call, or it just completely, like, ruined the whole thing. It erased the whole thing. I've never taken a call during it, and apparently I can't.
Oh, that's a bummer. Well,
I
learning
mean,
lesson.
huh?
It's a learning. Now we know. Now you know.
Yeah, it's a learning process. I wasn't wearing my wig tonight either. I think that might have had something to do with it. Maybe I'm not supposed to, like, be seen or saved without the wig. I don't know. I was tired tonight, and I got in kind of late, and I really kind of wanted to take a shower, but I didn't have time. I'm like, fuck it, I don't feel like doing it up tonight, and I guess, like, I need to, like, not be like that. I guess you have to do it up every night, right?
That's what they tell you.
Right. Right.
Oh, man.
I don't know. That's what they say.
What a great show.
Really?
That was awesome. Yeah, I mean, just the way it flowed, like, it was a couple of breaks, but then we would jump into other topics, and I think we hit relevant, pointed topics tonight, like, that were up-to-date, relevant, and we had different points of view, and everybody got their point of view out. And then we even had, like, a little, like, argument discussion. It was kind of, at one point, like, crossfire. It was kind of fun. You know, and then we stopped right at when he was like, well, I use those for hunting, deer. Commercial break. It was perfect.
Oh, yeah, cool. And then I love how, like, Casper's kind of becoming a personality on it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's like you should. I mean, like, most good radio shows, unless they work their own board, like Rush Limbaugh does, you know, the person who usually runs their board is on their show. I mean, Glenn Beck, Howard Stern, all these people have had their people who work their boards on their show. Didn't Robin, the one that's famous for Howard Stern, didn't she start on his board?
Yeah.
She was his board operator, yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, but he's good at it.
Robin Quivers ran the board. Didn't she?
I think so. I think she did.
Didn't Quivers start by doing sports and running the board?
I think she did.
Yeah.
She did.
The other guy that was there, started with him. The other guy that was there was his original board guy who did the weather and used to do the sound effects by mouth. Like, I'm up in the chopper. He would do, like, the chopper sounds and shit. Yeah. And then he got, like, pretty much like an assistant job, like, just run around and fetch me shit. And then they hired Robin, and she was the board person, and she did, like, sports or up to date, like, do-do-do. And then out of nowhere, she just started talking and chiming in, giving, you know, or Howard just started asking her, well, what do you think?
He started talking to her, and that was unheard of, you know. She didn't even know. She was the first one to actually answer him like a normal human being.
Right. She was afraid to even talk back to him. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that is right. Yeah, and he started talking to her, and then boom. So, you know, and then since then, unless they work their own board, that's pretty much been the standard. Stop it, Marley. Go lay down. Sorry, my dog's.
Your dog's name is Marley?
Yeah.
Marley's the shit.
Marley likes to get high. If I had my computer, I'd probably get him high, but then I'd probably get a lot of PETA letters. So.
So Terry, inform me, how did we land fucking Gary Busey as a fucking guest? That's fucking awesome.
Okay, it's not really Busey.
Oh.
It's somebody who does a Gary Busey impression.
God damn it.
Yeah. God, I mean, I don't mean to disappoint you.
You got me so fucking excited. I was like, Gary motherfucking Busey. I had all kinds of shit I was going to ask him.
That's what it was. This is a guy who does Gary Busey. It's like a character. He sounds just like him.
Right.
And he answers crazy. So ask him the same questions you would ask Gary Busey.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, this will be even better because now there will be no fucking walls.
exactly. That's what I said. That's why I was like, I can't believe we have Gary Busey on the show, like, because it'll be funny, you know. As well as we'll have, I believe we're gonna have what's it? Harry Palmer, Sergeant.
Oh, Sergeant
Palmer?
Detective Harry Palmer Jr. is
Junior.
retired. Is this character that Ron Osborne does, and I gotta tell, it's fucking brilliant, Kevin. It's brilliant. He actually started it way back when there was something going on with Tommy Chong and some sort of like festival, and he was in character. He does a whole, he's got the whole thing, like the whole earpiece in. He's all in a suit. He looks like Secret Service, and he just it smacks of like Stacy Keach. It reminds me. It's that stupid cop kind of Detective Harry Palmer Jr. way more serious about himself than he needs to be. And I'll have to show you some. We had him on again on Hollywood Hemptress Hour when I was working with Michael Jenkins. And and then when we did Gonchapalooza, I did some really guerrilla footage of him that is just amazing, of him before the show being in character, and asking me questions as I was being the ticket girl that night. So
that's awesome. Yeah, Ron's genius. Ron is a genius. So I can only imagine.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But he doesn't want a whole lot of people to know that it's him. Like, he's like, well, don't tell him it's me, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, all right. So maybe that's good that the footage was gone, because I actually I admitted that he was him and blah, 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 blah. So I don't know. I'm trying to make light out of the fact that I lost that footage, but
well,
it is what it is.
We'll just bring him on the show as, Sergeant Detective Harry Palmer Jr. retired and Gary Busey. And
right.
It'll be hilarious.
Exactly. I mean, that's why you play it. I mean, but the thing of it is that I'm going to have to pre-tape Ron and then upload it as an MP3 to the show. And then let it play as being the guest spot. So like on and then so it's going to be, Friday's going to be more like us carrying it with the pre-taped Ron interview that looks like an interview, but then he's not going to sing for the second hour, obviously. And then we're going to have, then Gary Busey's going to call in the same night on the Hollywood Hemptress Hour break, but that's still only going to be a 3 to 5 minute thing. So let's really plan about what we're going to be talking about topic-wise, so that we move from thing to thing, and then these comedy bits are in between. Now, I was thinking if you guys are available, we could actually tape it so that people can see you or hear you ask Sergeant Detective Harry Palmer Jr.'s, and we guerrilla tape it like as if I was really doing it during the show with my cell phone, whatever. But then we're going to have a guy that's going to cheat film like Ron and I into a 2-shot. So I was thinking of making it like I normally do when I webcast, and then have him there, and then have somebody else actually get us in a 2-shot. We might not even need him. I might be able to actually capture Ron, and I kind of need to have somebody else to be I need a third hand.
Right.
But I don't know if you guys want to do that, or if you just want me to tape me and Ron together and just put it in and fuck having you guys be a part of it. I mean, it's up to you.
Well, I mean, just do the interview yourself with Ron, right, and record it, right? And
right.
Do you guys' thing, and then when we do the show Friday, that first hour, right? You bring us on, we talk for a few minutes, maybe go to the first commercial break. When you come back, we talk about, you say we have this is our guest. Unfortunately, he's not with us right now, right? So this was pre-recorded, but we're going to go into this, and then we'll play it, and then just play out the whole interview, and then, just play that for that amount of time.
I see, yeah.
And then when that's done, be like, and then, be like, oh, and then we'll come back in, and then we can talk about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Amongst ourselves, and then and then, and then what I think would be weirder or funnier is if we didn't, what do you call it? Mention we were having Gary Busey on, and all of a sudden we acted like we got a surprise call from Gary Busey, in the second hour, and all of a sudden it's Gary Busey.
You come back from a break and you're like, well, you guys, we've got a guest caller. He just called in.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's Gary Busey. I go, who is it? And they go, and they go, it's
You know what happened this week was David Arquette called fucking Howard Stern all drunk and started fucking talking for like a half an hour all drunk about his wife and fucking just all kinds of shit. Just this drunken rant.
Really?
I think this will go in perfect with it. I mean, it's on TMZ and shit like that. You know, I think this would tie in perfect with something like that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
You know, it's kind of a jab at the fucking, you know, at the whole David Arquette thing, but at the same time.
Right, you just do it like, you know, like, well, it might be fun to go, like, I might be even be able to go, this is really Gary Busey. Like, you know, like, I go, what, we got Gary Busey here? Like, really? Like, oh my God. And then we just, like, ask Gary Busey questions, being that he's Gary Busey.
Well, no, he's got to start talking. He'd be like, yeah, he's like, yes, this is Gary Busey. Blah, blah, blah. Do like some Gary Busey-isms or whatever. Like, it'll be funny. Like, if you know, have him get in character and do it, and like, you know, be like, we have Gary Busey on the phone. Like, no, we actually have Gary Busey. And they'd be like, I'm the one. You know, and have him come on and be like, I did Great Balls of Fire or whatever the hell. I played Buddy Holly. I did da 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 da.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
I mean, my friend does a really good, like, he'll be like, you know where I'm at? I'm on Venice Beach right now, creating, like, blah, 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 doing this, doing that. That's what I'm doing right now. You know, he does stuff like that, like, you know, a beach ball in the air, flying in the sky.
Exactly.
I feel it. Yeah, that's
what we want.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Random ass Busey for answers. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly what people expect. Is like total randomness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
Perfect.
I want to start to introduce like these kind of characters with people coming in, just kind of doing it off the cuff, because I like it, and you know, Detective Harry Palmer Jr. kind of been playing with that a little bit. There's also a guy. His name is Troy Conrad, and you know what? He's actually the creator of a really cool thing called the Set List, which went to the Edinburgh Festival, I think, and like they've been taping it as a show. But what they do is they give comedians, like, it's called like your set list, where you just like one word that tips you off to your bit, but they're words that you've never seen before. And they bring the comic out, and the comic does a routine to incorporate the 5 words that are on the list. And it's so clever, and it's so amazing. It's like improv meets stand-up creation, and it's becoming really popular. And Troy Conrad created it, and it was like going on like down you know, at the I was watching. Rick Overton writes a lot for it. I think Paul Provenza has something to do, is behind it and producing it and stuff. And anyway, I used to do the Free Speech show with Troy Conrad and John Fugelsang, and Rick Overton, and for Bill Bronner's ComedyNation.com, with a woman named Lori Buckley, who she's done a Hollywood Hemptress Hour. She's been my guest on it before, co-hosted with me. Her dad was Lord Buckley, who was you know, kind of during the time of like, you know, Lenny Bruce and stuff like that, and was a fan of Lenny Bruce, great speaker in the beatnik language, really famous guy. But she is, you know, a supporter of marijuana and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm rambling, but she's in it. And so Troy Conrad I met through the circle, and I actually got a Mac computer from him that I gave $60 worth of weed for as trade, because I needed a computer. And that's another connection I have. Troy Conrad does this character, Comedy Jesus character, that he you know, that he's done, like he dresses up like Jesus, and like he's done these videos as Comedy Jesus, and so he called in the Normal Network as Jesus. And then you know, and just be like this man who, you know, and talk about cannabis as Jesus Christ. And I would love. Exactly. I want to do something where not only do I have a visual of him, you know, not only can you hear him be on the show, but he dresses up like Jesus. So I would love to have him on the Skype. I think it'd be great to have him on the Skype and film him too. You know. And then be able to have that video too as like an advertisement for him and the show and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd be really fun to have some people who did characters and like came on the show, you know, in Skype in character, like, and the whole get-up, exactly, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, that's exactly what we want somebody to do.
Yeah, because I think if these little pieces of, you know, comedy come in like this, that's, you know, off the cuff or like natural or whatever, you know, it spices up the dialogue that might get real serious too, you know. I mean, because no matter where you go or intense or, you know, you always want to have that pressure cooker of laughter that you know you can guarantee on, or for the most part, you can guarantee on. I mean, like, because it's designed to do it. You know, there's nothing ever really a guarantee, but yeah.
I think we did pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, the show went great. Are we recording? Are we going?
Yeah, we're recording. We've been recording for
a while now.
Yeah, we've been recording for 16 minutes.
All right, so let's hear. We have this story here as to why Norphblat is being hunted.
What?
Check this out. So I need you guys' backup on this. I think someone's out to get me. Okay. My white Explorer, right? 91 Ford Explorer. I come back from Utah. This all started when we came back from Utah. Prior to Utah, the thing ran great. Okay, we come back from Utah, and it's just run shitty, right? So the first thing I notice is the gas cap's missing. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So it's been sitting out with the gas cap off. Maybe it's got water in the gas tank. So I drive it around for 2 fucking weeks. Still running shitty. It's running shittier now. I'm like, what the hell? So I look underneath the hood. All right. One spark plug is unhooked. There's a hose that's unhooked from another spot that's sucking enough air to where it leaves a red mark around my finger when I put it on there. And then there's another hose that's cut. Literally cut. Cut. Okay. So I fixed those 3 things and go driving around and whatnot, and I start hearing this knocking that I think is my brakes. So I'm aware of the knocking, and it's small. It's more like a wear at first. It's just that wah, wah, wah. Now, a couple weeks go by. Yesterday, it starts getting really bad. Like, it's not just loud, it's enough to like move the truck around. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. What the fuck? This morning I take the kids to school, come back, and it's bad. I can't fucking drive it anymore. It's kunk, and it's loud and fucking like, what the fuck is this? I get to work. I fucking and mind you, over the last 4 or 5 days driving this fucker, I have stopped and gotten out and gotten under the truck and looked for what the fuck could be causing this racket. Well, I finally get to work this morning. I fucking pull in. I'm like, God damn. I'm sitting there smoking a cigarette, and I notice my tire is like leaning outwards. So I walk over there, and the fucker has no lug nuts. Not only does it have no fucking lug, it has one lug nut, but all of the fucking bolts that those lug nuts go on are gone. It's totally fucking shaved off. It's fucking bare. I'm lucky the fucking tire didn't come off on me this morning. But I called Les Schwab. They came down and looked, and they were like, oh my God. You know, we need to get you a fucking tow truck. I ended up driving it to Les Schwab because I figured, fuck it. But I think someone's out for me, man. I do. Someone's sabotaging my truck.
Well, they had to have already done it, because, I mean, where are you parking it that they're finding it to come do that?
Well, no, this is a contrived, fucking planned out thing, my friend.
That's weird. I mean, that's weird. I mean, that's definitely sounds like somebody is like, trying to get your car to fail on you.
Well, one spark plug, which, mind you, it wasn't the top ones. It was one that was like fucking down underneath the fucking engine. Was disconnected. There was a hose. A hose obviously was important because it wouldn't let me fucking go. I'd have to wait until there was no traffic to go because, well, you felt it, Kevin. You remember what my truck was doing?
Right.
It would take fucking, it'd take 30 seconds to get to 25 miles an hour. It was getting bad there for a while. And then there was yet another hose that was completely cut, just like snipped, right in the middle of it. So, and then that, along with this whole thing with the lug nuts being fucking totally, just chewed gone, man. The bolts are gone. Yeah. So if you're watching, I know you're fucking watching. I figured it out, bitches. Yeah. Sorry.
I wonder, Norphblat, about it. Why do you think? I mean, when did this? I mean, it's happened when you came back from Salt Lake City. Do you have any idea why this? I mean, do you think it's because of like, are you posting stuff on Facebook? I mean, you're like, what is it? I mean, you think?
Oh, I always post stuff on Facebook. No, the only people I ever have trouble with on Facebook are people that think bacon bikinis are porn. Yeah, so. I don't worry about the people on Facebook so much. I don't make a lot of enemies. I don't, honestly, I really don't know. I mean, I have my suspicions. There's a couple people that, well, mainly one person in general that it could be. But.
What are you drinking?
Coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I watered it down. I don't have to drink it with a fork tonight. Fuck, it's been tiring these last few nights, man.
Yeah, I've definitely been feeling it big time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've been sleeping in. It's been nice.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah.
What happened, Mr. Comedy Director? What happened to the fucking radio gig?
What radio gig?
Oh, that's a good question. Because of the, when the car broke down, I just was supposed to, I have the phone number. I'm just supposed to call and set up another meeting. I just haven't done it yet.
Oh, really?
Yep. So, I don't know. Maybe I should probably do that tomorrow. Give her a call.
Unemployment, how many more weeks you got left on unemployment? Might as well fucking milk that fucker, right?
Ooh. I'll still be milling that, trust me. You heard it here first, boys and girls. Now we'll know if the state's watching.
Right. Well, I mean, I want to work on editing like a video of this, like another trailer of this, and maybe like.
Right, because I want to use what I think we should do is we should use these after hours trips, right? Like get them edited, like chopped up into like just weird bits and weird things, and like make trailers out of, and use it with a couple of trailers for trips. Like, you got that one trailer for like the Comic-Con and then like the actual episode. Instead of actually giving them an actual episode, like even shorten that up into like just like maybe like a really long trailer. Like not like the other one where it's all flat, where we have talking that shows discussions and stuff and then it cuts to something else. But like shorten it up really into like 25 minutes, you know what I'm saying? And then what we do from there is we use that and say this is us going to Salt Lake, right? And then we use the after hours trips to get funding so we can go and do more trips.
Yeah.
That way we can do more trips, because I was already thinking about that. Like, that was, not only am I going to do the advertising for the time for him for iHeart so we can start getting some money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was going, if I'm going to be calling these people, why aren't I getting them to fund, us to go on a trip?
Yes.
I got all those, like I was telling you, I have all those short films that I'm supposed to be watching to rank, for the, for like the film festivals.
Yeah.
And I just watched a really good one called Last Stop for Paul. And it was about these guys, and it was basically like a documentary, kind of a short little documentary. And their buddy died, and his dream was to travel around the world, so they were going to take his ashes around the world and spread them. Well, they went to a travel agent to buy, like, an around-the-world ticket, right? Because to do it in 2 weeks. And they were like, it was $11,000 a piece. They were like, holy crap. They're like, okay, well, we got that, but we can't afford anything we do there. So they started sending out emails, because they bought the ticket, right, for like a month later down the road. And then that month, all they did was send out emails to all the hotels, all the restaurants, all the bars in those, like, cities and countries, saying that they were, like, writers and they were coming to test their stuff. And whatever they got back, they took, and they went and they stayed in all these fancy hotels for free and ate in all these, top restaurants for free. And then they just filmed their little adventure. And I was like, I can do that. I was like, I can do that. I was like, I can so do this, And it was really weird because they were in, like, Chile, and they were, like, out of all the places they went, their best meal they got, and they were eating at some of the best restaurants in the world, right? They found that the best meal they got was at a hostel in Chile where you went for $5 and it was an all-you-can-eat, like, barbecue buffet. For $5. It was just, I was like, oh, my Lord. And that was for 2 people, so it was like $2.50 per person, and you just ate until you couldn't eat anymore. And they were cooking, like, whole pigs and stuff. It was awesome.
Wow, this is making me totally hungry.
Right? Me too. But I totally want to just go. We need to go on these trips, and we need to go and have these discussions and, meet these people and these locals and talk to them and interview them, you know what I'm saying, and get their opinions and, and see different, this is what we need to do. We need to find, and someone needs to, somebody's going to make money off of it, so they need to give us the money to go do it.
Right.
And so I say we do it. And I think it's right. And I think right now we have, I think we have a perfect opportunity. Right now we have a good constituent base in building in Australia. I know this for a fact because I keep getting friend requests and messages. And then, if, we're playing in the UK, I would assume we're going to get listeners in the UK. All we need to do is find a way to bridge a forum. You know what I'm saying? Find a way to make it interactive. So, like, if these people in the UK are listening, they can get in that chat, you know what I'm saying? Or get on a chat, board and talk and, like, ask questions that we can answer live. If we can do that, we can build an audience. If we can do that, we can get to know them. If we can get to know them, boom, we've set up places to stay, probably food. Traveling. That's basically like a travel guide plus usually a vehicle. And this is all money you save, and this is all, like, normal expenses that you run into when you travel. You know what I'm saying? We can cut these out.
Yeah, like the Ustream, like on Ustream, I noticed on that Friday night, the lingerie night, that, I just itched my boob practically right there. I'm sorry, that's rude. I don't know if anybody's going to see that.
I was like, what were you saying? Go on.
I'm, like, starting to loosen up. I'm tired. There were 3 people in the chat room talking. There's a chat room on the Ustream.
Right. See, so that's what we need to be able to do. And then, so we need to be able, if they're talking and they're asking questions, we need to be looking at that, and we need to be going, okay, and we need to be, like, throwing that out there. Like, and you don't even have to say, like, who it's for. You can just say, well, this and this and this, and they'll be like, ooh, they just asked it. Or they just said it. Eventually they'll catch on that we're reading what they're typing, you know what I'm saying? Which will build more people into that Ustream account. People will come in there to get in that chat room.
So let's get that started.
Yeah, that's gonna be big. that'll be a huge advantage, and we can market it that way. Let people know, like, hey, if you go to the Ustream and watch it, do this live, you can be part of the conversation. We'll be watching it and taking, and selecting your questions.
And maybe we can ask, we can ask them to ask something, or what do you want us to talk about? Or they would be listening to the conversation. You know who does that is.
Or even a topic. Throw out the topic ahead of time and be like, well, this is the topic. Right, like that we're going to be discussing tonight. What do you think? Come give us what you think and your questions or what you want said here.
Yeah.
And you throw out the link, the Ustream link. They're on the chat and they're typing while we're filming or while we're recording, and you can start bringing up. Okay, well this is and boom, 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 and you can say something off of there, and that's all you got to do.
One of us should be on the chat. One of us should be doing the chat line while during the show.
Exactly, yeah. One of us should be doing the chat line. I'm not going to have internet for a couple more days, but after that, then I'll have really good internet. I'll be back to regular internet again.
Well, you'll have DirecTV internet.
No, I don't have DirecTV internet. DirecTV doesn't actually do internet. They go through third party. I'm taking CenturyLink, but because of where I live, it's actually Comcast. No matter what, I can't escape it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, but at least I'm paying CenturyLink instead of Comcast.
But it's still Comcast internet?
Huh?
But it's still Comcast internet?
Yeah, they use, because where I live, they use the Comcast fiber optics.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it just depends on where you're at rurally, and I got lucky.
Oh my God! I just realized I'm doing laundry. Let me put my rugs in the dryer just real quick. I'm gonna be right back. Okay?
Alrighty.
Go dry your rugs.
All right. Hold on. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. I'll be because the laundry room's right by here. So I'll be right back.
So anyways.
Yep. Anyway, moving the whole office down here. It's all coming down to the shop.
Yeah, I saw that last time I was in there.
Yep.
So you're going to be right there with Miguel. How's that working out?
I don't know. It hasn't worked. It hasn't started yet. We'll see. I don't know.
It hasn't started yet.
I haven't moved my shit down here yet. My stuff's still up there in the office. Man. Yeah, this is big.
Actually, I still need to get the. I still need to do the bed. Like my comforter isn't dry yet, so I got to do that first. Then I'll put the rugs in. I'll just go to bed. I'll get the rugs tomorrow morning. But I do need to kind of my comforter's still damp and it's cold here, and I don't want to have a wet comforter when I go to bed. I don't care if it's damp or what. I know. But
put it in the dryer. Put it in the dryer.
I mean, today is my wash day. We all have it. We all have a day to do our wash here, and I'm Wednesday. So,
nice.
But with having to do the show so late and then getting up late, I'm getting up about 11:30 noon, because I'm not going to bed until 4 or 5. So.
Right.
You're so lucky. You get to sleep in. That's so nice.
Yeah, but I mean, on the other hand, it's kind of I'm going to work at 5:30 or so. I have to be to work by 5:20, so I leave here about 4:20, and then I go to downtown or southeast Portland on Morrison Street, and then I drive back. I get here by between 9:30 10, and then prep for the show again, and then go all over again. So it's
Yep, it's nonstop. Once we wake up, it's nonstop.
It's nonstop because I'm frustrated because I haven't been able to edit like I want to. There's a few things that I want to get edited and spinning out there online, and because I've been having to work and then turn around and do this, and then it's
I booked us a show, so I hope this is open on your calendar because it's booked.
Oh, cool. What is it?
December 5th. We're gonna go down to the coast and do a show.
Awesome.
We're doing it with a band, with a really, really good band called the Berry Brothers.
Okay.
You could probably even get them for a guest on your show. That would be cool.
Oh yeah.
And they're very good. They're from Hawaii. I've known them, but I met them here in Portland, which is weird. Then it turned out we knew each other from kids from back in Hawaii, and then they moved back to Hawaii. But they just moved back to Portland, and he's booking gigs like crazy. But he does sort of this weird act already, because like it's him and his family, right? And they play these acoustic guitars, and they pretty much will take requests and play anything, right? And they'll just jam it out, like, and play it in their like little style. But they'll play games with people, like, where you throw words, and they'll make songs, and they'll like rap and play music and rap and like make fun of people and talk shit. It's really funny. And so they've been wanting to do like a hybrid comedy show, and they booked some venues that gave them a good amount of money if they could deliver this show. And he was like, "Bro, you're the guy to talk to." I was like, "Yes, I am."
Oh wow,
let's do this. And so he was like, "Okay, well, I have this booked on this date. Can we do this?" So we're sitting down. Hopefully he calls me today or tomorrow. He's supposed to call me. Well, I say today. He's supposed to call me here on Halloween. So. And we're supposed to sit down and hash out like the final details, but it's pretty much set in stone. We're going to the beach for December 5th.
All right, that's great.
I don't know exactly, but I think we're going to Rockaway, so it's not like who knows? So who knows? I have no clue. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, but we're going to go do that one. And he said he's got a bunch of other shows. And then he said that he has a club, like an actual club here in Portland, that hired him to do their, their entertainment, period. Not just to play music. And he wants to book a one-night-a-month comedy show, so we'll have that too. So we'll have a room.
Oh,
so
that's
I'm
great.
going to hash that out too. Yeah, so that was a good, this is all coming. See, this is what I'm saying. The positive energy, it's coming. And we just got to keep walking. I mean, you have no idea, Terry. You know when you first got here, right?
Yeah.
Okay? And Musty put you in touch with me and told me to call you and whatever, and we talked, like, the first time I talked to you, I think we talked like 2 hours. It was crazy, right?
Yeah.
Just over the phone. And then I met you, and it was awesome. But honestly, when I met you, right, after you left, and then you went anywhere else in Portland, I was the bad guy. People hated me. They hated me for at least a good year and a half. They all worked for me. They all took my money. But they all just hated me for no reason whatsoever, you know? And that was just the way it was. And I just started telling everybody, fuck them. You know, I don't give a shit. You know, fuck them, right? Like, that's what and I was like, I'm the bad guy, but apparently somebody had to come in and be the villain, you know? It's making me money, who cares, right? Like, I was like, let them hate. And then, guess what happened? They saw that and how I was doing it, and all of a sudden, they quit hating.
Yeah.
One of them followed my footsteps, step for step for step for step for step for step right behind me, you know what I'm saying? And it's just been crazy, dude. Which, by the way, I guess is the most sincerest form of flattery. Is impersonation, but get off my dick at some point. And so I went and did this, but all of a sudden, all these people that were all hated me, now all of a sudden, they're my friends. They know me. We're okay. They like me. What? Who? Last time I was like, what? I don't think so. Really? Am I the nice guy now? No, now I'm gonna be the bad guy. You made me the bad guy. Now I'm gonna be the bad guy. Go fuck yourself, right? That's the way I feel.
Well, that's what I got pissed about. That's why I was kind of upset last night. Was I noticed people that I know have trash talked. All of a sudden, we're just liking your post big time in trips, and I go, you you phony balonies. Like you, I you know, part of my rage yesterday was like part of that was like it was all like all encompassing. I'm like you. I know who you are. And honestly, right now I'm turned off by them. I'm like, I got your number, and it isn't pretty, and you weren't like cool in the first place. And you know what? What makes you? You'll sway whatever you when you think you sniff something, and then all of a sudden you're Mr. Nice Guy. You know, I've had it happen. I've noticed people in my life, and I don't want to judge them totally. They haven't talked to me in like ages. One guy goes, "Hey, how's it going, sexy mama? What's up?" I'm like, "Oh, well, why are you talking to me now on Facebook?"
Right.
A comedian. It's another comedian. You know what I mean?
I like to look at it a couple of different ways. I like to look at it as, yeah, they're there because they're seeing like holy moly, and then at the same time, I like to see it as maybe they see us actually doing something, and they're, you know, like it or not, maybe they're supporting it because they're supporting, because Portland does have this weird way of, whether we like you or not, we will support you if you make it to a certain level and you just represent Portland.
Well, this isn't a Portland comic for me. This is somebody that's like, in my, like, I mean, I've known like now for like, 7-8 years of stand up, from LA.
Right.
I mean, like
right.
he's not a bad guy. But I just, and a couple other friends of mine that I hadn't seen in a while, all of a sudden were like tapping in, and they're comics. Hey, what's going on? It just feels, I go, is it synergy, or have they noticed that something's going on? They know something's up, which, it's okay, but there are also people that only like come near you when you've got something going on. At the lean times, they don't necessarily pay as much attention.
Well, we got a lot of people in the group, one, right? I've seen a lot of groups on Facebook that have a lot more people, but then a lot of startup groups like ours, I've seen that don't have hardly that many people. But we keep the posts, we keep it updated. We're constantly changing things. We're constantly moving things around. We're constantly doing stuff. Every time somebody does that goes in their notification, right? That goes in that little sidebar. It pops up in a little window that says somebody posted or somebody did something in Trips. And so they see that constantly pop up all day. Eventually, they click on it.
Yeah.
And then they go look at something and they read it. And that's that's the magic, and that's the power. And right now, we have it. We have the power. Because like right now, I swear to God, if I was a business and if I was an advertiser, I would be having somebody pay us. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's really where it should be. Because right now, like we are only going to go forward. We haven't gone backward yet. Have you seen us go back? People. I don't know about you guys, but I added 3 people to the group today. And when I say I added 3 people to the group, these were people who sent the group requests.
Yeah, I've added a few group requests myself.
I've answered a few group requests as well.
Yeah, this isn't people that, because in the beginning, I pretty much forced everybody, and I just added people.
I've hardly even invited any of my friends, really. I haven't had time. So I think I've been less than 100.
I went through, like, pretty much half my list, and I figured if they didn't want to be here, they could take themselves out.
Yeah.
Right? But half the people I put in, more than half the people I put in, didn't turn away. They stayed.
Yeah.
And they're not turning away. In fact, they're starting to like posts.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
They're starting to comment. They're starting to like posts. They're starting to make comments. They're starting to come around. It's pretty big.
A lot of people made comments. I posted that picture in more than one place, but Trips too is that the picture of the flu shot thing.
Right, that one's great.
Yeah, so I kind of like the way, like, so, I feel that this is really good. I'm gonna invite more people that I know that are my friends too. My brother's in there. I've seen my brother like some stuff. So I know that he's like watching and everything, and like Roland A. Doobie. There's also the Rev Bookburn, who is, yeah. So he's the Rev's been been following me on my media for a while.
That's cool.
He's
that's awesome. I mean, that's just awesome, and it's amazing that people are going in there and starting to comment on stuff and like stuff. Even older posts they're going through and hitting the like button. It's just weird. So that means that they're actually going through the page. That means they're actually looking at stuff, which is what we want them to do.
Yeah.
They're curious. Yeah. And this is what we want to do. One thing I can't check right now because my phone sucks. What you guys might want to do is when you get on the page, because you're both admins too, if you go on the page, there's a spot at the top where it says like about, photos, videos. Click on photos, videos, or whatever. If it's just photos, click on that and see if it takes you to a spot for videos and see if all these links, when we post YouTube links up there, if it's saving in our video section. If not, then you may have to go back and post these videos directly in there, so they're in that section. So people click on that section, they can see all of our videos.
Yeah, I'll check on that. I know, like, the Facebook page, you have to upload the video. So, like, what you post as YouTube does not translate over into the videos that you upload to your page. So, we may want to, like, sit back and decide exactly which ones we want up there, too.
Right.
In terms of, like, I think, like, once you start to put, like, your permanent pictures and your videos that you're doing, you're basically leading people through the path of what you're displaying. You're showcasing yourself.
Easily put up at least the Comic-Con trailer.
Oh, absolutely. And I think one of these too, like, and like maybe the edited trailer of this, and certain ones.
Right, you give them that one, give them that Halloween version one we did. That one was hilarious. With had me, you, Norphblat, and Jason America.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, and I got busted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept laughing about that so hard because I almost want to put it in the trailer, where you go, what are you doing on here? Like you fucking, like you can kind of hear like a little bit of an obscenity, and then there's like a few moments later where you pop back on, and like you have the biggest grin on your face. You're like smiling and looking at everybody. It's like a little kid that like just got in trouble, but then like went right back to where it's hilarious to me. I laughed like so much, like I kept laughing about it like throughout the night before I went to bed. Like it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, exactly. I mean, throw a couple little. I mean, we could make like make a couple edited clips or something of Trips After Hours, and let them know that Trips, the promo, you know what I'm saying, and then this other one. This is the show we want to do. This is the After Hours show we're doing. And we're actually, basically what we're doing is we're showing you how we're going to make this show. We're basically showing people and telling people right now how they can do it too. Which this is why I told them this is what Trips was about, was come take the trip with us as we take trips to Trips so you don't have to. But the best part is you get to watch us put it all together. You actually take the trip with us. You watch us start from right here where we are, and you watch us build to our next trip, and then you watch us go on that trip. It's like waiting, and then reward the trip, and then you get to see the trip that you helped build or you were part of. It's pretty amazing, I think. You don't get to see this very often. People don't show you behind the scenes. You just see somebody in a TV show and go, oh, that's great that they're on TV. You have no idea what they did to get there.
Well, I mean, there's that one video of, like, the first video that we shot where I discover this type of filming. I go, oh, well, look at this. And then all of a sudden, like, you actually see the whole thing start, in a way. And I loved when, the compliment that was given to us, that it's Andy Warhol meets Abby Hoffman. I mean...
I like to be compared to Abby Hoffman. That was my first fucking, when I started going against the whole fucking status quo agenda and whatnot, I mean, it was Abby Hoffman who broke me out of my fucking cage, man. I read all of his books, and I'm a big fan of Abby Hoffman, absolutely.
And I'm also, I mean, I love Andy Hoffman, but I've been a fan of Andy Warhol and the Factory. and the films, and the Velvet Underground, or Underground, and like the whole. They're like, they would have done something like this. This would be like, this is the kind of like funky stuff that how it would be shot and stuff.
Abby Hoffman and Jimi Hendrix sent joints to every person in the New York City phone book. They even did a skit on Saturday Night Live about it, where Chevy Chase was making fun of a newscaster who had gone on television and said, "If you receive one of these notes with one of these marijuana cigarettes, please put it in a mail, in an envelope and send it to the FBI." Blah 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 blah. And Chevy Chase did a skit where he was doing the news,
It's the Rockefeller Plaza.
Yeah, it's Rockefeller Plaza in care of Chevy Chase.
I'll test it for you and let you know if it was drugs.
Yeah. Well, that was Abby Hoffman and Jimi Hendrix. They took a hefty bag full of pot and rolled joints all night long, and then fucking sent a joint to every name in the New York City phone book. I mean, that's fucking awesome. He was one of the only people to stop Wall Street. Him and the Chicago 7 went up. It was before they had glass. Before they had glass up there where they ring the bell and whatnot. But they went up there with bags full of money and fucking dumped money on the fucking stockbrokers down below who were all going, They dropped money down there and they all fucking stopped doing stocks and ran after the money. It was one of the only times that the fucking stock market had stopped. Because it wasn't a natural, disaster or anything like that.
That'd be fun. But yeah, Andy Warhol meets Abby Hoffman. I saw that. I shared that too when I saw that one. That was a good one.
I mean, that might even be something that we might even use as a coin phrase for advertising. I mean, half the time, whenever you use something like that, even the product never was really that in the first place, but because it was said that way, all of a sudden you see it that way.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'm not to say that we're not that way, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, why not kind of use that in a press release or so not all the time, but people go, well, what's your show like? You go, well, it's, Andy Warhol meets Abby Hoffman. I mean, it's like that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, they always want you to have an example that way, especially when it comes to the, shows, or actors or whatever. So it's nice that it's already coined in some ways, At least this portion of it is, I mean, everything's been pretty guerrilla filming, which I love. And it adds, I think what's cool about the pilot for Trips and also our footage with Trips, it's all spontaneous. It's not, it looks good. It looks like it's professional, whatever, but it's also spontaneous. It's not programmed and planned, and you can tell that we're living. So it does have the element of reality television without making it so it's showing a negative paradigm. It's gonzo, basically. Remember what I was saying when I was really drunk? I go, we're freaking gonzo. It's gonzo, really. We are in it, living our own art in a way.
It's gonzo talking headzolism.
Yeah. And that's kind of what's exciting about doing the radio show, or even doing, again, when we look at it, we're really documenting new technology as it is our new medium. I mean, this is the new medium. I mean, we're putting a flag in the new networks, or what you would consider to be the networks, which aren't really going to be like the networks anymore, because it wouldn't be like the networks if it was. I mean, I can't think of a time where it doesn't get more exciting or raw or real as it might be now, and as free as it is now. To me, when I think about having creative freedom, I feel that it's now, and now we can put in the advertisers in the market that we feel that we want to stand behind, or that would be attracted to be accepting of doing what we're doing because we are their market. Does that make any sense? Because I feel that there's a market for,
Oh, absolutely.
you know.
With every new person that we get, I feel like there's one more person that we're pulling away from the mainstream, that we're kind of not sucking in, but you know, they're curious. They're curious enough to come and see what we're talking about. And what we're talking about is in a direct opposition of what the mainstream media and the status quo is talking about.
Well, I had a friend that I've been chatting with in Facebook, and he's a comedian, but he lives in New York, and I think we kind of maybe crossed paths like way back when. And you know, we're friends, and you know, we just started talking about stuff, things that were going on in the government, things that were going that we thought was, you know, our perception of what life. Well, he just finally, he blew my mind. He talked about Dick Cheney being on Charlie Hill's show, Rose.
Rose.
And what a hypocrite he was, and like what a monster, and what the things that he was doing, and he's criminal and killed all these people, and then I said, yeah, and then we talked about the fact that he didn't have a heart, and then we made, like, you know, Tin Man heart jokes, you know, and I go, look, you know, the Tin Man really doesn't have a heart, you know, and it's just stuff like this, and then he goes, well, you know, you know, it's aliens. He goes, you know it. He goes, you know it. Like, it's the Matrix, and the aliens, they're behind it, and they want to exterminate us, and blah 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 blah. And I go, whoa! I never knew that he went to the alien level of this, which is what I'm into and talking about, and I'm afraid to talk about with people, because, you know, when you start to bring in the alien aspect with it, they're going like, wait, well, I couldn't even, I'm trying to wrap my brain around Illuminati, let alone like talk about, like, you know, like an alien thing. But I mean, but in reality, this is what I believe is actually really happening. And the only way that, you know, there's programming that's out there that is, you know, of like, it doesn't have entertainment. I mean, it's not quite entertainment yet. And so when does the entertainment aspect come into all of this other information that's going out there? You know, I mean, like, obviously, where do people go if they are, like, in that, you know, and I go, do you know any good alien jokes? And then he goes, two aliens walk into a bar. And you know what I mean? It's like, you know, where are we going to go now if it, you know, with that? When somebody that I'm not expecting to comes out and says that to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you too? Like, you too?
The Canadian Defense Minister 2 months ago held a press conference basically begging the United States to disclose their alien information. They said every other country in the world has disclosed this to their people. You were one of the last countries on Earth to not tell their people what's going to happen to them. I mean, what's going on? And you can YouTube it. The Canadian Defense Minister, he's talking about fucking aliens, man.
I've heard the president of Brazil give almost the exact same speech a few different times too.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening. There's countries all over that are disclosing their information to their people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it would just be ignorant to think. I mean, the same type of ignorance is the same people that are racist. Okay, here's the thing: they're so small-minded they can't even believe there's another human being with a different color skin tone. Okay, they can't even understand that concept, let alone that there's a zillion other planets, and it would be pretty retarded to think that there's not some sort of living life form on another one of them. If you don't understand that, then, you know, like, these are the same people that don't understand that another human being can be a different color and still be human. You know, how do you expect them to understand that there's other life forms on other planets?
Have you heard of Alex Collier before? I think it's the printed Collier. I've listened to him speak a couple times, and he's in touch with the Andromedans. And one of the things that they say is that humans, and I've heard this from more than one source, not just from him, that we come from 12 different alien species that we've been created from. So, and that's why they call it the Majestic 12, I think. And that's the name of these, one of these projects is the Majestic 12, which means that we come, like, and that's why 12 is an important number. 12, 12. It's like, it's because we're the 12 different, alien races make up the human person. And he says that our DNA is so magnificent and we're so well made with all these bells and whistles that we don't even realize that we're actually considered royalty to other alien species. The human is, and that it's a very evolved, like we're on the cusp, and that's what we have to contribute and to grow into and to become. Not and again, there are forces to stop us from happening.
Our DNA. So me and Alex have had this tripped out discussion a few times too. That I believe DNA or helixes, right, are basically memory maps. Like I don't believe it, but according to tests, I'm extremely smart on paper. I can look at a test question and I just know the answer, whether I know the answer or not. You know what I'm saying? I read the question, I instantly know it. You can ask me 10 minutes later, I probably won't know it, but if you put it on paper and tell me I have 10 seconds to answer it, I'll probably figure it out. I don't know why, it just happens. But there's only two ways as a human being that we know for fact, that we know of now, that humans learn, okay? That's either trial and error or you're taught, okay? So you've either had to have gone through it, tried it, or read about it, which would be teaching, or somebody taught you, or you saw it on TV, or some sort of teaching, some form of you were taught, or it was trial and error, right?
Right.
Well, here's the weird part. There's things that I've never seen on TV, things I've never read in a book, things I've definitely never tried or errored, but I know the answer to. Why?
Right.
How?